So hello everyone. This is Amy Jo Goddard, and I am here to talk about firewomen and to answer your questions because we've been getting a lot of them. Um, and it just occurred to me that it would be helpful, even if there's just a few people that are wanting to get information, to come on and talk a little bit about what happens at the Firewoman Retreat, which is a sexual empowerment retreat for women and for non-binary folks who were identified female at birth. So I'm on the Zoom with folks. I'm on the Instagram live with everybody. So please feel free, if you are on with us live, to use the chat. I will answer any questions that come up in the chat, and I will follow the chat on the Instagram as well. So I've got like the multiple screens going here. And then I'm just going to answer the questions that people have been writing in. There were some people that couldn't come on live but sent in questions. And so I know that if one person has that question, then that means that multiple people have that question. So I wanted to answer those a little bit today. So first of all, my name is Amy Jo Goddard. I am a sexual empowerment educator and author. If you don't know who I am or are unfamiliar with my work, I've been teaching for over 20 years. And my focus is on women's sexuality and women's sexual empowerment. And I wrote a couple of books. Lesbian Sex Secrets for Men was my first book. It sells itself. It's a bestseller. And then this is my latest book, Woman on Fire, 9 Elements to Wake Up Your Erotic Energy, Personal Power, and Sexual Intelligence. So that book, this book, Woman on Fire, came about because I had been working with women for a lot of years, and I'd learned a lot about what it was that people really needed in terms of sexual empowerment. And I realized that, just realized my mic, I didn't plug in my mic, so I will do that, have better sound. I realized that I was having the same conversations over and over again. And let me know if that doesn't sound good. Hopefully that sounds better. I was having similar conversations with people. There were the same kinds of things were coming up. And so when I sat down to really look at, well, what is a model of sexual empowerment? Because I work well in frameworks. I work well in models. I teach through a lot of frameworks. And I've developed a lot of frameworks in my work over the years because I find that frameworks help people to learn, right? It gives people, it gives learning concepts a structure, and it helps to make sense of things that are complicated. Now, sexuality is one of the most complicated things there is, which is why it makes sense that people are like, what the hell do you do at a sexual empowerment retreat? I don't really know what that means, right? So when I sat down to really look at what that framework was, it wasn't an intellectual exercise. It wasn't something where I was like, let me come up with the 9 magical things that, are gonna, totally change people's lives. It came organically out of the work. It came from me looking back at what are the conversations that I'm having? What are the things that people are needing over and over that clearly are themes and that I'm teaching all the time, and how could I put that into a framework that would help it to make more sense for people? And so that's how the 9 elements of sexual empowerment came about. So those elements really are the foundation of all of my work. I teach about them in different ways. I have a women's sexual empowerment 10-month program that's virtual. I have people all over the world that do that program. And then I've done live in-person retreats, and I did a program for 7 years, which was 4 retreats over a 9-month period, because 9 months is a birth. So I like 9 months. 9 is my favorite number, obviously, I think. But that allows us, right, that time of having 9 months to really work on sexuality and go deep into sexuality. That really allows people to access the things that they're needing to access, and to do the work to really shift patterns that probably are very long-standing. Because, these things don't happen overnight, right? we get very ingrained patterns. And I think for most people, they don't talk about sexuality in an open way on a regular basis. And so when you finally open the floodgates and you start talking about sexuality in a really real way, it like blows open so many things, and there's so many conversations to be had. So that takes time to do that well. And so it was important to me that I created programs that allowed for that, that spaciousness that women need to drop in and to really dive into the things that were important to them. And what I like about the 9 elements, and what I say in the book, is like, there's not a linear, they're not linear. There's not a linear structure to them, except for the fact that I had to put them in a book. And so I had to come up with some kind of structure that would make sense for these 9 elements. So I wrote the book and let people know that, like, you can jump in anywhere, right? You might really need voice. And so then maybe that makes sense that we start with voice, but maybe you really just want to like jump to the desire chapter. Maybe you want to jump to the permission chapter. Maybe you want the fire chapter and you want to like get into the juice and the sexual energy piece. Maybe you want the body chapter, so everyone has like the elements that they need the most work around. But I think overall, we all need these things. And so Fire Woman Retreat came from my 9-month program where I was doing these 4 weekends. And so I decided that, and that's a multi-$1,000 program. That's, it's a much bigger investment to do that work with me. What I wanted to do was to bring that first weekend and bring it into Fire Women, bring most of that curriculum, not quite all of it, but most of that curriculum into a retreat where I could invite women at a much lower price point and a lot more people could experience it. Because we do some pretty like fantastic things in this retreat. And some pieces of curricula that I'm probably most proud of actually in that first weekend. And so that's how Fire Women began. And for several years, I knew I wanted to do an event like that. And I was looking for the right space for it, because this is sexuality. This is about sexuality. This is, this is about, things that should feel good and should be, we want to feel beautiful. We want to be in a sexy environment. We want to be in a space that lights us up, right? So, a lot of like entrepreneur events, and retreats and things happen in like hotel ballrooms. I was like, there's no way I am doing an event in a hotel ballroom. And so when I found the Fire Garden, oh my God, I was like blown away. I'm going to show you a picture of it. If you're on the Zoom with me, you'll be able to see it. If you're on the Instagram, there's definitely pictures of the Fire Garden in my feed. But this is the Fire Garden. This was the Fire Woman Retreat last year. It's such a beautiful space. It's an outdoor space in San Diego, California. You can see in this photo, for those of you looking at the photo, there's some women in the back under a chandelier that's hanging from a tree that's all lit up with fire and flame. And there's all these beautiful sculptures all over the land that are lit up, and it's just so beautiful. And so when I found the Fire Garden, I was like, oh, I'm home. This is exactly where we need to do this. It just was such a perfect space, and it is owned and cared for by 2 people that I absolutely love and adore. They've become good friends of mine, Tony and Triambika. Triambika is one of our teachers at Fire Women Retreat. She was there last year, and she's going to be there again this year, playing a major role. And Tony is the artist. He's the sculptor that created this beautiful, beautiful space. So it is really loved and cared for, and it was very, very important to me to create a space like that. Oh, hi, Amber. I see Amber coming on. Amber, you were there last year. Maybe you have some thoughts of some questions people might have who have not been to Fire Women before. If you can think back to questions you had before you went, what do you think would be good questions to answer for people? So that is my question for you. So I just wanted to come on and share a little bit more, because I think that it makes people super, super nervous. They get, they feel like, oh, so one question I get a lot, are we having sex with people? Like, because I'm not a lesbian, and like, is that what we're, no, We are not having sex. That is not what this environment is about. It's about being sexy, being in an environment that makes us feel good, but it's about you as an individual. This is not about getting together with people, I mean, if like an attraction happens or something wonderful, but that's not what we're doing. We're not having play parties. We're not like having sex at the event. So number one, I just wanted to make sure that I said that to people, because I think a lot of times people, they think because I'm very out about my sexual identities as a queer person, as a kinky person, as a poly person. And I've had women over the years come to me and say, well, I'm not poly, I mean, if this is just for poly people, like, I'm not right for the, and it's like, no. You don't have to be the things I am. I come out as what I am because I want to give people permission to be whatever they are. So it's not about me wanting you to be any particular way. It's really me wanting to create with my team and all of the amazing people it takes to put this event together, a space where you can figure out what is true for you and what is erotically authentic for you. That is what Firewoman is about. And that is what my work is about. That's different for everybody. There's no two of us that are the same in terms of the things that we're attracted to, the things that we want, the things we want to explore, the things that we don't like, the things that we do like, And I think for most women, what has happened is that we've been told for so long who we need to be as sexual people, how we need to be, who we need to partner with, that, that we need to be heterosexual and married and 2.5 children and, a house with a picket fence, or, whatever the story is that we took on. We have been told our whole lives what we're supposed to be. And so being in a space where you can talk about sexuality very openly and you have an opportunity to explore some different things that are set up for you in a really safe environment with teachers that are very skilled and very experienced it's a rare thing. And it's a really special thing. So Amber just wrote in on Instagram, yes, I'm with family right now. I love it. I want to discuss how awesome the erotic carnival was, the timeline, and I loved the womb. Love you, AJ. Thank you for doing this. I'm so grateful to be a stronger sexual being because of you. Thank you, Amber. I love hearing that. Love hearing that. Amber was there last year. She's coming back again this year. So what is she talking about? Let me just talk to you a little bit about what goes on. And then if people have questions, please feel free to pop them into the chat, or if you even want to unmute and ask your question, that is fine too for the people that are on live. So there's a combination of things that happen. So during the day, there are a lot of really deep, rich teachings. Amber mentioned one of my favorite teachings that I do. It's one of I think the absolute best pieces of my curriculum that I've been doing over the last 8 years, which is the sexual lifeline. And so we look at the sexual lifeline of ourselves as individuals, and we look at the collective sexual lifeline. It is a profound experience. I'm not going to tell you exactly how we do that, but it is profound. Someday I actually would like to make it an installation somewhere, like a public art installation, because it really is so incredible what happens in it. Every time I have done it, I am moved, usually almost to tears, by the stories and what we're able to glean from looking at an entire lifeline of a whole collective of us. So we do that together. So that's an example of one of the things that we do. We do healing work with each other. We do, there are going to be multiple teachers who are going to be teaching at Firewoman. I've invited some very esteemed colleagues and friends to come teach, who I trust implicitly, who I know how to hold space. They know how to create safety. They know how to guide people through a process. And they teach in a really dynamic, experiential way. And that's my way. It's not didactic, it's participatory. We're all participating and we're bringing something together. Now, that said, you are always at choice. You get to do what's right for you. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. And we set that up at the beginning. It's very, very important that we are able to practice consent at an event like Firewoman Retreat, because we need to be practicing it more in the world. It's not going so well for a lot of folks. It's not going so well. And, and I think people are asking some really good questions about consent and what that means and what that looks like and how to offer it in ways that feel good rather than like punitive or something. I think a lot of people think of consent that way. And actually consent can be super sexy and flirty and seductive and fun. And I think when we can see it in that way and we can practice doing it in different ways, and this is a great space to do that in, to practice it where there's no pressure from somebody wanting something from you, and it's really you just showing up and creating your own adventure and doing what's right for you. When you can practice it that way, you'll find the thing that feels good, or the things that feel good, hopefully more than one thing. So yes, so that is part of what happens during the day. So it is a unique 3-day event, and it is designed to help women. And I invite non-binary people who were identified female at birth. Trans women are also welcome. Anyone that identifies as a woman or has been identified that way in their life is welcome. So it is really about us figuring out what is holding us back from being who we truly are as sexual beings, because we've all taken in messages teaching us what we're supposed to be as sexual beings our whole life. So this is a chance to do that differently. So that is the overarching. So we do this through sacred theater. We do this through having time in nature. We do this through music and dance and having fun and play. We explore sexual archetypes, which come from our culture. I love the sexual archetype ritual. It's one of my favorite things I do. I've been doing the sexual archetype ritual for 9 years. I think this will be my 9th one, maybe 8 years, and this will be my 9th one I'm doing. It is such a beautiful opportunity to explore these archetypes that we know about because we experience them in our culture, but we experience them through a real live living person. So a lot of people come to put this on. We have 12 archetypes we explore, and then we do the erotic carnival where you get to explore all these different erotic skills that are taught by different teachers. So you get to go do the ones you want to do. You don't have to do anything, and if you just want to sit and watch, you could do that, or just dance on the dance floor. That's fine too. So we create a women's space, and we also use a lot of powerful rituals. I believe that sexuality and spirituality are intrinsically connected, and I'm very much a ritualist. And so I like to bring that sacredness in. And so when we bring in that sacredness, I think there's a different level that we get to experience sexuality in. And, I talk about sexual practices in the way that a lot of people talk about spiritual practices. So that's a big piece that we do as well. Amber made another comment here. She said, me before the retreat at work, scared to speak up. Me after the retreat at work, warrior queen. I love it. I love it. So yes, we want more warrior queens. Talk about an archetype. That's a really good archetype. I love it. So, okay. So it's at the Fire Garden. It is for women of all ages. We had women from their 20s to their 70s last year. And I love that. I love the intergenerational nature of it, and that people who are at different stages of life are showing up in this work. We had women of different ethnic backgrounds, women of different body sizes, relationship status, styles of relationship, whether it's monogamous or polyamorous or open or, something else. And women along a whole spectrum of sexual experience. So I really do believe there's something for everyone here. I would say that the majority of people that do this work are like in their 30s to their 50s, just because I think those tend to be the years when women realize that there's something more that they want and they want to do it differently. So that definitely is something I have seen. So Amber says, AJ, thank you for doing this. Women who can check this out, what an opportunity for clarity, empowerment, and growth. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Amber. Okay, so we also have women of all different sexual orientations. it runs the spectrum. And it also women who are trying to figure that out, and who are maybe asking some questions about their sexual orientation. Maybe they're feeling some attraction to women and they're wanting to explore that and look at that. I've seen that quite a bit as well. Sometimes there's women who have been monogamous but want to explore polyamory, or we get a lot of women in this work who have gone through a divorce, and now they're opening up to, okay, what's next? And, you know, what might be the thing that is going to allow me to take my sexuality to the next level and to have a new experience with it. So we get people that are single, and we get people who are in relationships. And I would say that it's about 50-50. So lots of different kinds of women. So I don't want anyone to feel like, oh, I'm going to be the only one. And I think it's really easy to feel that way. Like, oh, nobody else is going through what I'm going through, or nobody else will understand, or I'm going to be really alone. I guarantee you that is not going to be the case. I guess I can't guarantee it, but it is very unlikely that that would be the case. So it's 3 days of transformational teachings, and amazing women, like really, really amazing women. You know, so during the day, there's that group process and discussion, and there's role play, and there's movement, and there's experiential learning, and there's healing work, and there's ritual. There's all kinds of things that we're doing. We take you through a process. I am a curriculum geek. For those of you that don't know this about me, one of the things I thrive on most is creating curricula that are effective, you know, that creates an effective process for people to get from where they are to where they want to be. I love creating curricula. It's a very creative experience for me, actually. And it's very fun for me. So there is an arc to the weekend. There's an opening fire ritual, and then there's a closing fire ritual on Sunday. So we start on Friday at 1 o'clock. It's a full day. And this year I am super excited because my friend Ariel Clark is going to be doing a pre-con called How to Be a Woman and Not Give Any Fucks, which I thought was a great lead into Fire Woman. So she's teaching that on Thursday night from 7 to 9 p.m. So you want to come in early. I encourage people to come in on Thursday anyway, especially if you're flying, because just too much happens with planes now. It just does. I've lost whole days in airports this not too long ago, this very summer actually. So it happens. It doesn't really matter what time of year. There's so many different things that can cause that. So I really encourage you, if you're flying, to fly in the day before. Get in early enough so you can go to Ariel's workshop. You can get some food, go to her workshop. We're actually trying to see if we can get a space that sells food where we might be able to host it. We're not sure yet, but location to be announced. So then some people are going to camp on the land. Like, the land is super beautiful. So for people that are into that, that's wonderful. And then we also have rooms down at the Marriott down the road. Some people are Airbnb-ing, some people live locally, whatever works for you. So there's a lot of deep witnessing, a lot of sharing, and really a lot of sisterhood at this event. And I think one of the big keys about it is that it's really okay to be vulnerable and to take risks. We have to be able to drop into that vulnerability if we really want to heal the things in our sexuality that need to be healed, and have the fun that we want to have in sexuality as well, right? To have fun and to play means that we have to take risks. And so a lot of people just don't play, and they get real, you know, kind of like sometimes standoffish or kind of stiff about like play, whether it's sexual play or other kinds of play, because it makes them feel so nervous to take that kind of risk. So there's a lot of opportunities for play and for dress up, and just to like be with other women in a space where like you're not being like oogled at or catcalled, or, you know, like there's none of that behavior that we experience all the time in the patriarchy that can be really a bummer, and also really distressing sometimes. So it's a space where you can just like play and let loose and dance and be yourself, and like figure out what that looks like for you, you know, in the next phase of where you're going. So there's just a lot of depth, you know. There's definitely group process and ritual, as I said, and just time to also be in this beautiful place and experience the nature and just like the energy of the land, which is also really, really powerful. And so at the, I mentioned about the archetype ritual, the sexual archetype ritual we do Friday night, which is a super powerful, amazing experience. Saturday night, we do the erotic carnival. And so we do these like really fun, fantastical, high production events at night. The erotic carnival, we set it up like a carnival. You get carnival tickets and you can go use them on whatever you want to use them on. You know, Triambaka might be over here teaching people how to work a cock while Marsha is over here teaching people flirtation skills, right? There's a range of skills that you will learn. We are going to have some of the same teachers we had last year, and then we're going to have some different ones. So, so even for people that came last year, there's going to be new skills to learn this year. One of the big hits last year was the lap dancing class. People really had fun with the lap dancing class. The same teacher isn't able to come back this year, but we have a different teacher that's going to teach lap dancing this year. So, so we really try to run the gamut. And there's a DJ and there's music. And so if you just want to like go dance and boogie and shake it off and you're not that interested, that's fine too. That's the beauty of it. You can do whatever feels right for you. And what is important is that we offer a range of skills so that everybody can meet their needs. That's what we really want. So I think the erotic carnival is something that people get really afraid of. And this is where they're like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen there? Nothing's going to happen that you don't want to have happen, right? So it is make your own adventure. You get to go and explore. And, you know, last year we had someone teaching, you know, we had Elise Bish teaching ecosexuality, right? And so she was like in the trees, you know, being a fairy and like bringing people in, you know, and into the dirt and the trees and, you know, and like playing with nature, right? And so, you know, we had someone else teaching erotic massage last year. So there's just a range and there will be something for everyone. And even if things aren't really your jam, it's just kind of interesting to learn, like, oh, people like that. Okay, like, I didn't know that, you know, I'm not really into that, but that's really interesting. So I think you can also approach it that way. So I don't want anyone to worry about the erotic carnival. The erotic carnival is super fun. And it really is like, you do what feels good to you. So we set it up in a way that makes it feel very inviting and welcoming. And then we encourage you to like dress up and like enjoy it and bring clothes that make you feel sexy and, you know, and just like show off and enjoy. Like we want to be in like the beauty and the sexiness and the, you know, like we're in this like gorgeous space and we're with all these amazing women. And so that's a piece of it too. So, you know, those events by firelight are just like definitely some of the highlights of the weekend. They're incredible. So much happens in them. Lots of laughter and fun and play, like seriously, so much fun, so much laughter, so much play. We have a lot of fun. We're dealing with some things that are really heavy, right? I mean, this year, Me Too happened. Me Too broke like 2 weeks after Fire Women last year. And, you know, so here we are, we're coming up on almost a year of Me Too, and we're dealing with Kavanaugh, and we're dealing with like a lot of things still in our culture. So we definitely are going to address that this year. That's important to address and give people the space to do some release and to shift perspectives and to do some of that healing work that you might want to do. And if you don't feel like that's your work, then there will be space for you to do whatever work is there for you. And, you know, or to hold space for other women who are doing their work. I mean, it's really, really powerful what happens when you bring women together. And I love creating women's circles and women's spaces. I have been in a lot of them in my life. I know a lot about how to create a safe container and how to really hold people. So that is something that I think that we do very well. And I don't want people to be worried about that. You're going to be held. You know, and I know like someone wrote in and said, I am terrified. Like, I am so terrified of showing up there. And, you know, and I just said, come, like, we will greet you. We will have someone sit with you if you want. We will help you meet people. You know, if you're an introvert and you feel challenged or you get into, you know, like a difficult headspace around like being in spaces like this, like we are there to help you. We're there to help you step outside of your comfort zone or get the comfort that you need. And to that end, we have a place called the Womb, which Amber had mentioned. So the Womb is the place where you can go. It's like cozy. It's got couches. It's kind of up on the hill. There's teas and tinctures, and we will have, you know, women doing Reiki and caring for people there. And so if you need a break, if you just need a time out, or if you are going through something and you need to talk to someone, or you just want to just have some tea and take care of yourself, that's what the Womb space is for. So the Womb will be there again this year. We are super happy that Mountain Rose Herbs has sent us a bunch of teas and tinctures again. They totally outfitted us at the Womb last year. They're outfitting us again. We have amazing sponsors for this event. Fun Factory is sponsoring. Good Clean Love is sponsoring. Uber Lube is sponsoring. We Vibe is sponsoring. We've got a lot of really amazing companies that have come on board and are really supporting us in what we're doing. So, so there'll be some goodies for you as well. And if you sign up at the VIP level, you'll get fancy sex toys. You'll get like a whole little package curated for you when you show up, with fancy sex toys and things like that. And you get to have lunch with me and some of the other teachers on Saturday. And you'll get a pre-call as well. So there's a lot, you get a lot of attention with that extra hot ticket if anyone wants to do that. So lots of special guest teachers. I mentioned Triambika Maviv will be there. Marsha Bajinsky is going to be there doing her work on overcoming the good girl. So she does a lot of work around the good girl archetype, which we've all learned to be the good girl. So she does a lot of stuff to help women to break through around pieces around that. Kawia is an amazing, amazing spiritual guide and teacher. She's going to be doing some work around ritual and the fire. And then we have musical guests. Raquel Hanna was there last year, for those of you who remember, as was Carême Brûlée. They both wanted to come back this year. So they're both going to be coming back this year to offer their talents. Both just amazing musicians. And Arden Lee is also going to be coming back this year. And as I said, Ariel Clark is going to do How to Be a Woman and Not Give a Fuck on Thursday night. That's our pre-con on Thursday night. You do not want to miss that if you're coming. She is amazing. And people that are signed up for Fire Woman Retreat, it is open to the public, so anyone in San Diego can go to that. And people coming to Fire Women get a discounted ticket. So we will send you a link for that when you sign up. If this doesn't set you up for total success, I truly don't know what will. I mean, really. We have put so much thought into how to create an event where women from all walks of life who are at all stages of their sexual development and understanding can get what they need. And there is no doubt in my mind that every woman who comes is going to get what she needs. That's really, really important. You know, I looked at every single evaluation last year. We had like 75 women last year. I read every evaluation, and every person there had some kind of breakthrough, some kind of major, major learning. And just, they were overwhelmingly positive. And I don't say this to blow up myself or my ego. It's not about that. It's just to say that's how much thought has been put into this. We've been doing this a long time. We've been doing retreats for a long time. This retreat definitely was like, we're going to take it to the next level. And we did. And we learned some things last year that are going to make it even better this year. So, so really there's space for everybody here. Christine is in my Fire Women program. She's been doing that program for the last 2 years, actually. She said, anyone who can go to this retreat, find a way and give yourself the best gift. Amy Jo and the others who make up this tribe will take you to places you did not imagine. I promise. Finding my voice over the 9-month online course for Fire Women last year is an ongoing, wonderful journey. I am still learning, healing, and growing at 62 years old, excited about my future. So I love that. Love, love, love that. And, you know, a lot of women from our community will be there this year. And then this is Michelle, who did my in-person women's program twice. She did it as a participant, and then she came back and she priestessed for the next group to help hold the space in the container. We always have women there helping to hold the container. She says, for any woman out there who is deciding whether or not to do this, I don't know what advice to give you, because I feel so wholeheartedly that this is an opportunity every woman should have It's unlike anything I've heard of, and at the same time, so thoughtfully put together and supportive. So when Michelle came to me, she was really in distress about sex. She was very, very stuck sexually. She was in a marriage with someone she really loved, but their sex life was not working. And she just did a whole 360. It was amazing. She was teaching women erotic dance by the end of the program. She now has a baby with her partners, a few years later. She's really amazing. So I've gotten to watch a lot of women go through those kinds of journeys. And what I can say is that it's not just what happens in your sexuality. It's so many other things that open up when you do this work. Because your sexuality is a core of who you are, and so it impacts every other part of your life. And so there's no doubt that you will change your sexual life and how you show up in all of your relationships through the Fire Woman Retreat. And it's going to help you in how you show up in the other parts of your life, how you ask for your worth at work, how you deal with your clients or your students, or whatever it is you do professionally in the world. There is no doubt that this will enhance every part of your life. I get the privilege of hearing the stories from women all the time, and so I know that is what this work is about at its core and at its depth. And Fire Woman Retreat is the depth. We're all about going deep. And, really like excavating what needs to be excavated, heal what needs to be healed, celebrate the things that we haven't been celebrating that need to be celebrated, and to really give space for play and exploration. So it's all of those things, and it's ritualizing it and making it meaningful. We get to be in the space with the fires. It's just so, so beautiful. You will love the fire garden. For people on the screen, there's another little image of it down in the lower corner. And like I said, if you don't want to camp there and you want to stay somewhere else, that's absolutely fine. You can do that. So this is about getting outside of that rigid cultural story, really stepping into who you are as an erotic being, taking back what is yours, discovering the magic and the power of the sexual archetypes and how they show up in you and how you want to play with them in your life, rather than like being kind of like slut shamed or, having ways in which we don't feel powerful in the archetypes or with those archetypes. We all have a relationship to them. It's about really discovering something new about yourself. And having that deep integration of sexuality and spirituality, and really seeing the potential of sexuality to be sacred. That is truly what we want. There is a sisterhood of women. I mean, this is one of my favorite pictures from last year at Fire Women. This was at our closing fire ritual on Sunday. We end at 4:00 on Sunday. I don't recommend that people leave Sunday. I recommend that you stay overnight and give yourself that time to integrate. Go to the beach on Monday or something. Gosh, you're going to be in beautiful San Diego. The weather will still be nice. So if you can stay over, I really encourage you to. But we do leave, end at 4. If you wanted to get like a 6:00 flight, you could do it. But I don't recommend it. So it's about giving yourself permission to really be who you are, to explore, to express your sexuality with authenticity. That's Sherry, she was one of our archetypes last year, and she was doing permission slips at the Erotic Carnival. I love that photo of her. So early bird registration is over. What we've done is we've tiered it this year. So we're in tier 3 right now. So right now tickets are $597. They are going to go up to $697. So if you want to come, I really want to invite you to come. I'm going to bonus everyone with my Ultimate Confidence in Sex, Money, and Business course. If you sign up, like in this tier. So you've got about a week on this tier. If you want to come, sign up. I will bonus this to you. And then, this is a 5 or 6, I think it's a 6-part module. Yeah, 6 teaching modules. It's a personalized assessment so that you can really understand your confidence, strengths, and needs and your type. I developed this framework many years ago. There are 5 confidence types, and it's about understanding how your confidence works and what the needs are, what the underlying needs are, and the fears, and then the strengths and how it expresses itself. And by understanding what your confidence type is and what all of them are, it helps you to work with everyone better in your life. The women in my programs who have done this absolutely love this course. It creates a entirely new language around confidence for people. And I bonus it because this is the number one thing that people tell me they need to feel more sexually empowered is confidence. So I want you to have that. I will bonus that to you. So so that's, if you register in the next week, usually that sells for $597. So that's an extra bonus. Yay. So yeah, so I didn't update these slides. Right now we are at $597, not $497. That was the early bird. If you want to do the extra hot upgrade, we were at $997. I think we're at $1097 for that. So you'll also get the confidence class. You'll get more time with me. Either one works, whichever option you feel is right for you. So this is my guarantee. If you come to the retreat and by the end of the first day, you honestly feel that we did not deliver on the information promised, you can quietly turn in your materials, you can ask for a full refund, and we will happily oblige. That's how much I believe in this work. So I guarantee my work. And, you know, when you get into that vortex, you get into that circle with such amazing, amazing women, it's so hard not to just love everybody. You see people doing their work and you get the opportunity to really explore and be in that very tender space with them. So, so those are some of the things I wanted to talk about and make sure that I said, and based on some of the questions that have been coming in, are there other questions that anyone who's here has that I can answer? So for people on Zoom, you can unmute yourself or you can pop into the chat a question. There's a little unmute button, or if there's people on the Instagram, you can pop a comment. So it is October 12th through the 14th. I don't even know if I said that. So October 12th through the 14th in San Diego. It's North County, San Diego. You can fly into either San Diego Airport, which is about an hour south, or you can fly into John Wayne Airport in Orange County, which is just over an hour north. It's almost equidistant. So wherever you can get the best flight, best rental car, you know, whatever, totally fine. You can go either way. Okay. What if you already signed up? Can you get the confidence bonus? Yes, I will give you the confidence bonus if you signed up. I'm a little slow on the back end right now, but I will get it to you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Any other questions? Let's see. Yay. So yeah, we're really, really excited. So yeah, and for people watching, if there's women in your life who you know would benefit from this, which probably there's women in all of our lives we know would benefit from this, and who would be open to it, please do share. And you know, you'd be surprised sometimes how open people are to things. Sometimes we think they're not going to be open, and they're more open than we think. So yeah, please do share this with people. We want more awesome women like you. So, and sometimes it can be fun to come with some girlfriends and go through the experience together. Georgie says, I see we need to bring a chair. Can I buy one near the hotel? Some people did buy one nearby last year. Yeah. Yeah, there would be places to get a chair. And, you know, there may be a few, but I just can't guarantee for people. You know what I like to do, and, you know, it depends how you like to sit. I have one of those little camping chairs that sits on the ground, you know, it's just like, it just folds. If you've ever seen those, if that's comfortable for you, you can literally put it in the bottom of your suitcase and travel with it. So I love my little camping chair. I take it everywhere. I have been traveling with that thing. I finally had to replace it last year because I had just like destroyed my old one. But that old one, man, I took it to every festival, every beach day, you know, I would just take it everywhere. And I just keep it in my car because you never know when you need to sit somewhere. So I think that's a great option. But yeah, there will definitely be places that you can get a chair there as well. We will have, you know, we'll be like on the ground. We'll have like blankets and things and carpets and whatever we can come up with on the ground. So there are like some places to sit. But if you know you're going to need back support, I definitely recommend that. Any other questions before we wrap up? I want to make sure that people get their questions answered. And if you've already signed up, as I know some people have, what were the questions you had or the things that you were afraid of? I want to know that, because I'm like, how do I make this less scary for people? You know, I don't want them to feel scared. I mean, people are going to feel some fear come up around sexuality just because we're taught sexuality through a lens of fear, right? We are all taught sexuality through that lens of fear. All the things to avoid, all the things that can go wrong, all the, you know, all the horrible things. And, you know, so often the conversation doesn't center enough on pleasure and the joy and the positive parts of sexuality. And I think that is part of our problem. So I understand that it is natural people are going to have some fear. And if there are ways that I can help people feel less of that, I want to do that. So I am open to your feedback if there's things that you're like, oh, this would have helped me to know that. Or if you would have said this sooner, I would have totally gotten it. I'm happy to hear. Georgie says, excited. Thanks for putting together yet another great program. I'm really excited. I can't wait to meet you in person, Georgie. Georgie's been in my program this past year and couldn't come last year, so now she's coming this year. Really happy to have you. Yay. Well, thank you for being here, and thanks to people that have been writing and asking questions and prompted me to do this. We're going to put this recording on the website so that people can just watch it and get their questions answered. So thank you for being here. And hello, Instagram land. Thanks for watching, if you've been watching us there. I can't wait to see you all at Firewoman. And if you have any other questions, please just write to us at moreplease@amyjogoddard.com, and we will get your questions answered. I can't wait. It is truly my favorite event of the year. At the end of Firewoman last year, I was like, vision realized. I mean, it was so beautiful. It was so magnificent. There were so many incredible people that helped make it happen. It is an absolute delight of collaboration and co-creation with all of the teachers and facilitators and all of the women who come. So can't wait to see you all there. Sending you much love and lots of wind for your fire. So I will see you soon. Thanks, everyone.